just like that, they buy it. They eat it up. You pander to them, you thank them. I mean, really, people, I thought you were a little bit smarter than that. I mean, it's just so easy to say the name of the city. You cheer.
Hey, Stephanie,
you cheer. I mean, just come on.
Welcome to the A Show.
Hello, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am Justin. I'm here with Meelz. Meelz, I'm so glad that you're here this week, I have to say. I know that the past couple of days have been very rough for you since Sunday. Do you care to speak about it? Or
No, I think not really. It's all about moving forward and moving on and understanding that the stuff that happened in the past is still in the past and it's going to be what it is. And we just have to look towards the future as a New York Knicks fan.
Is there a future? Is there a future for New York?
There is a future. The guys, the young core that we have now is definitely promising, but who knows if they will also decide in about 3-4 years, hey, maybe I'll just take the money and run. So who knows with that? But I think we do have a promising core. I think we do have, we have some cool guys. It looks like they're definitely focusing on the youth, and really all the, old people on the team are not happy about it, but it is what it is. We're trying to build new stars. But yes, congratulations to the Brooklyn Nets on getting Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
Yeah. Cool. No?
Barclays is very close. I will show up to games. I'm not even going to think. I don't think they're actually Nets fans. I don't think they actually exist. I know like one Nets fan in my life. People are not Nets fans. It just is what it is. People are a fan of the players on the Nets, but actual Nets fans themselves do not exist. But I do look forward to having a good time at the Barclays Center. They have great chicken fingers. So,
or do they?
No, they do. They do. It's very expensive, but they're very good.
Okay, I gotta go there. Well, whenever I go to New York, I gotta try it out. We are at the 89th episode, my friend.
First of all, also happy July 4th to everybody.
Oh yeah, that too. This is actually going to be a very special episode of the A Show. We're going to be going over hot takes this episode.
Listen, we got them grilling, we got them sizzling, we got them marinating right now.
Yes.
We'll get back to them at some point in the episode. But we have definitely the hot takes that you, the listeners, have submitted to the A Show. We'll go over this. We'll determine, how hot exactly are these takes, and whether or not they're actually,
hot.
Whether or not they're reputable takes, we'll talk about that. But what else do we have going on this episode?
We have that going on. We have a lot of news in our No Holds Barred segment. Before we get to that, we're at the 89th episode of the A Show. Very monumental 10 weeks coming up for this show before we hit 100. Like, can you believe that for 100 weeks we have done this?
No, I cannot. I cannot believe it.
I listened to your episode on the on Nelson's podcast. If you haven't checked that out, definitely check that out. Really, really great conversation with Meelz on chatting with Nelson. The second part came out today. The last section came out last week. I was listening to it, and you were talking about the first time that I called you and told you to do the A Show. And it's funny because I went back to the first episode, and I could tell in your voice that you at first you didn't want to do it. Like, I could tell. Because I can now tell when you don't want to do things.
Sure, of course.
Because I talk to you every single week, but also, as the episode went on, you kind of got into it. Like, have you listened to the first episode since?
I've listened to the first episode probably not since the week of whenever the first episode came out. But no, I haven't listened to it. It was a weird time. I was doing Two Belts also. I was speaking via a phone through your thing to record.
Yeah.
I wasn't particularly thrilled about that, but it is what it is. It was just a weird time, but you know what? It's 88 episodes later from that first one, and I do enjoy doing this, and there's no other thing I'd be doing weekly or enjoy doing weekly than the A Show and talking about professional wrestling with all these cool people.
Yeah,
and I'm glad for the people who have gotten on board and listened as well. I've interacted with a lot of cool people because they said they listened to the A Show. We've had a lot of cool guests. We've afforded a lot of opportunities. I think we're, more. I feel like people, care about what we say, which is cool. But also, I'm more excited about people really kind of losing themselves and just being able to enjoy the show. That's really all I want. People just enjoy the show from week to week.
I mean, we've done so much stuff. We've interviewed really great guests. I mean, we've interviewed Samoa Joe on the show. We've done a lot of really cool shit on this show. And once again, as we near 100, I think I'm just gonna start getting more emotional at the beginning of episodes and just remembering everything. All of the memories that we've made for the A Show. But let's go into No Holds Barred.
Okay.
Very big week in wrestling. Very enjoyable week, I'd say, in wrestling after last week's spicy.
It's been a little tame. I'm pretty happy with it. I'm pretty satisfied how cooler heads have prevailed and everything is kind of like very much so, cooled off a little bit. It was getting a little too hot. It was getting a little too angsty.
A little too spicy.
A little too spicy. A little too spicy.
Not used to that. Just getting on the new changes to the shows weekly, it's being reported that WWE is reportedly skewing younger to win back their viewers. They're thinking of pushing more risque programming and more younger wrestlers to the top of the card. I think we saw that a lot on Raw, on Monday night, and as well a little bit on SmackDown. I think SmackDown had a little bit less, and we'll talk about this later, but SmackDown had a little bit less of the fingerprints of their respective executive on the show on Tuesday. But Monday night, you could definitely tell with Ricochet main eventing the show for the second week, and with the first thing that happened in the episode that kind of set everything off.
Right. I think it's a great idea. I think this all seems, and when they talk about skewing towards younger superstars and things like that, this all seems very 1995.
Yep.
This all seems like, okay, we're tired of the passe, we're tired of treating you guys like, like we want to bring, smarter and greater television. And that's kind of all that we wanted. I mean, we've wanted television for a while. I think that's not stale. And then also that doesn't treat us like idiots. And I think, especially with Monday Night Raw this week, which was to me by far the better show, and quite honestly one of the better Raws of the year. If you missed it, you're wilding because it was fantastic from top to bottom.
Really good show.
When a Raw is good when it just flies by.
Yeah.
But I think just continuing with the new changes. I mean, Heyman's fingerprints continue to be all the show. I'm glad he's at the helm of Monday Night Raw, because I felt like for a long part of his career, at least in the early part of his career when he was running creative for SmackDown, he always felt like he was behind. He was behind the ball. He felt like he was the underdog. He was the guy who was fighting for, he's fighting against Monday Night Raw. And that, brought out well. And it's good to see him now kind of awarded with the A Show, with the monumental show and I think that's a factor people don't really look at, is that Heyman is on the A Show now. Heyman is running the show. Heyman, he's not running SmackDown and they're tucking him away over there and they're like, okay, maybe ECW too. They're like, no, here are the keys to the major show. And
he's getting loose. He's getting loose on it. I mean, the pregnancy thing that happened on Raw, the opening segment is crazy. Even the main event, even the wrestling, they were laying it in a little bit more on Monday, and I thought that I appreciated that a lot. They did say, and there has been reports that Raw went business as usual on Monday, and that Heyman actually was just behind Gorilla, but everything else was done the normal way on Monday. So I'm guessing that Heyman might have added a last minute touch to everything before passing it through Vince. And you could definitely tell the difference.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, everybody was on their A game. Everyone, people who weren't getting opportunities before getting opportunities. There was a gradual, there was a lot more talent featured on the show, and it wasn't so much very heavy on the wild card talent, which I enjoyed. Yeah, that's all I can say. I mean, we're looking forward to everything kind of moving forward and moving ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great idea. And once again, as things move on, Eric Bischoff has said that he's moving to Connecticut next week. So I'm guessing that, again, what they've been saying about there being basically a slow transition to Heyman and Bischoff seems to be the truth right now. And I'm glad they're doing that. You can't really make these large sweeping changes a week before a pay-per-view. Like, it's just, you just can't.
A week before pay-per-view, 5 weeks before SummerSlam. Like, it's crazy to be able to just shift the show so dangerously in that direction. I do think it will be gradual. And then, by the time fall hits, hopefully we won't be in that lull period that we're usually in.
Yeah. Next up on No Holds Barred, we have a update on the Seth Rollins Will Ospreay beef. It has ended over this week. Seth apologized for his comments, apologized to Will Ospreay for the money comment that he made last week towards Ospreay's bank account. Ospreay responded in kind, said he thinks Seth Rollins is one of the best in the world. He respects him, and he knows, he wasn't serious and that he does it for the love. They kissed and made up, and all is well. And I think, you know what? A lot of people were like, Seth took an L on this, but I'm like, you know what? Seth being the bigger man and saying he might have been out of his range. And I think even you and I said it last week that some of the stuff he was saying was like, all right, he could have kicked it and chilled on that. He took the high road there, and he admitted that he was wrong and that he was a little bit too passionate. I don't think that it's wrong. Like, here's the thing, like, people were like, oh, that's an L for Seth. I'm like, bro, like, you guys are able to make those types of tweets all you want. Like, this guy's in a publicly traded company. He can't be like really saying shit like that about other companies. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
not even that. You look at like you said, he's definitely in a public traded company, but you look at the kind of the example he's trying to set, and just putting people down because of money they make. Especially when you're dealing with, when you're saying this, you're a role model to a bunch of fans. You're on weekly television, broadcasting to a lot of fans who may not even be in that type of position. It's like, really, you don't want to look down on people because of how much they make. It shouldn't be about that. It should kind of be about the character or things like that. Like, if you really want to look down on them. But yeah, I think just a great decision overall. I think it's a great, healthy decision. And, he had something to look back on. He can look back at it and say, you know what, I did the wrong thing. Maybe this wasn't right. Maybe he got a call from somebody, and they hashed it out. But I'm glad he did it.
Yeah, I am too. And it's a rare moment in wrestling internet fandom where, and I haven't read the comments to these things, but it's like a rare moment where like New Japan fans and WWE fans can finally shake hands and say, you know what, this guy's good, where it's like, I mean, Ospreay was even saying, like, leave Seth alone, like, stop coming after him, like, it's not that serious. In a very rare, mature move for Will Ospreay, who, doesn't have the best online presence, online maturity presence. Like, he actually was sticking up for Seth, and I thought this was a rare moment where internet fans could actually come together and say, you know what, the product is great. We're at a great place right now as far as performance goes.
I agree. And once you set that example for yourselves and be able to do that, I think it trickles down to the fans. If you set that example of, listen, we're at odds, and having all these heated discussions, then you present a toxic environment for a lot of people who discuss professional wrestling. With this kind of olive branch and with these kind of discussions, you then open up people's eyes. It's like, okay, maybe Will Ospreay isn't bad. Maybe I'll check out the product and maybe I'll just enjoy it for what it is instead of picking sides of like who's right, who's wrong, who's part of the better company, who's not, et cetera, et cetera. But Seth Rollins will still assure you that WWE is the roster and is the best professional wrestling roster in professional wrestling, period.
Yeah, he tripled down on that. And you know what? He's still right as far as talent goes. Next up, AEW Fyter Fest.
Whew. I'll be honest, didn't watch it.
Gonna be honest as well. Watched one match.
I mean, what was I doing? I was just out. I wasn't, I'm sure
it's okay to say you weren't thinking about fucking AEW.
I mean, I don't want to say that, but I definitely wasn't thinking about this show. Nah, I definitely wasn't thinking about the show. And I say that just because I haven't even bothered to go back or ask anyone for a link or anything like that, because I think the show
it was free.
Yeah, it was what it was, but I think, you know what? Continue on. I know what you're about to get into. Let's talk about it.
So I'm just going to talk about some of the wider sweeping issues from the show. First being Cody Rhodes taking an unprotected chair shot and the controversy surrounding it. That was a major talking point coming out of the show. He had a match against Darby Allin, which ended in a fucking time limit draw. Which imagine if some other company did that. Huh? Yes. Ended in a time limit draw. I saw someone give that match 4 stars as well. I can't believe that they would have done that with a time limit draw in a Cody match.
Hold on. All right. So there's a hold on. Time limit draw on a professional wrestling pay-per-view card. All right. Luckily it was free. I'll say this. The headshot. The chair shot to the head.
Well, given to him by Sean Spears, the former Ty Dillinger, by the way.
Sean Spears, what is he going by? I forgot the perfection something.
Yeah, perfectin or some shit.
Yeah, perfectin or something like that. Either way, completely 100% 2019 irresponsible. It's just irresponsible as a company, irresponsible as superstars, irresponsible from all accounts, especially with what we know about CTE and how it's bigger than professional wrestling. These are people's lives. These are people's families. People are not the same because of situations like that. We've seen people react terribly, i.e. Chris Benoit. We've seen people not be able to compete anymore in a professional wrestling ring, and that was scary as well. We've seen a whole bunch of side effects, and there's still so much more research going on. For Cody Rhodes to take that blunt chair shot to the head, I get what he was trying to do, but once again, completely irresponsible. There's a better way to present shock factor in professional wrestling than a chair shot to the head.
Yeah,
100%.
I don't know if you saw the Young Bucks interview in the media scrum afterwards, where they said it was a gimmicked chair and that we thought that it was unprotected when clearly we saw the fucking shot to the head. Like, it was not, unprotected. Cody had to get about 12 stitches. For some reason, he was bleeding from the wrong side of his head, which was also weird. Like, there were just so many things wrong with that shit. And the Young Bucks acted completely disingenuous about it. Just basically calling the reporters that were talking about the effects of CTE marks. Even though when the chair shot happened, Jim Ross immediately started talking about CTE.
Yeah, this isn't something that's like, oh, you're a mark for it's CTE serious. This is some serious shit. Like, this isn't something to play with. This isn't something to continue to play with, because I know, I don't know, but I have a hunch that their wellness protocol is not as rigorous as WWE's. I'm sure it's not. WWE has one of the, in terms of sports and maintaining their performers, and it has one of the best medical sort of things in professional sports. Now, I would say AEW in its opening stages does not have that, which is maybe something they want to look forward to. But you have the situation where someone could have gotten a concussion, and then it's like, okay, well, you still got to wrestle. And now you're wrestling on a concussion. And now things are getting worse, and things are getting worse, and things are getting worse. It's completely irresponsible for them. And not even that, but just to sort of refute those things. Even if it was a gimmick chair, is this the kind of message you want to coming across? Like, is it real?
They just come across as really elitist, no pun intended, anyway, about things like this. It's like, take it or leave it, type shit. And, you had so many positive things happen on the show, such as the women's triple threat match. Then you had things on the show that were just like completely weird, like the librarian gimmick that completely killed the fucking crowd, or the match with the guy Jabali, who is a video game tournament promoter, versus one of the AEW talent, which is like one of the worst matches that, I've seen highlights of it, but it's like one of the worst matches I've seen this year. Like, And it's like, who's going to keep the same energy about this shit? And I'm glad that on Saturday, people kept the fucking same energy. A lot of people were very mixed to negative on this show, where it's like there were matches there, like the Kenny Omega Bucks match, the 6-man tag that a lot of people were just saying was just like every other match that you've seen between these guys. And I could agree. That's why I kind of I looked over it. I went right to the main event, which I thought was really spectacular. Jon Moxley versus Joey Janela. Holy shit, was that match really violent. You had thumbtacks. You had Joey Janela's feet in the thumbtacks. You had him jumping off of a fucking ladder out of the ring onto a table, almost missing it completely. You had Moxley doing his deathmatch shit. This is the type of Moxley that we need to get. I've been very mixed to kind of meh on his real wrestling stuff in New Japan so far. I think this is what we need to see more of. And it looks to me that it's going to be Moxley and Kenny Omega at All Out, which should be quite a spectacle, because to me, it seems as though Kenny Omega can't really flourish anymore in straight wrestling matches. Like they've done nothing for me. But plunder matches like the match against Jericho, that seems to be where he's excelling at now.
All right. Well, no, I guess I'll have to go back and watch it. I only saw the thumbtacks to the feet.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was not a fan of it, of that look for Joey Janela. He's wilding for respect.
Yeah.
I wonder if he gets healthcare. Jim Ross also can't.
No one in wrestling gets healthcare.
That's the big selling point. Is that everyone? Okay, sure. Did you hear the Jim Ross thing about him calling people Orientals?
No, I didn't. But I'm not surprised. If you'd asked me if Jim Ross would call someone an Oriental on the show, would not be surprised.
Get him off the fucking mic, please.
Yeah.
Please get him off the mic. There was also ROH pay-per-view last weekend.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
We didn't watch it. I didn't watch it either.
No. What was it called?
Best in the world.
Best in the world.
Yeah.
Oh, that's why that hashtag existed. Okay. Was it also on Saturday?
Yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, it was on. Oh, it was a 2-night affair. Okay. All right. Night 2. Okay, yeah. I don't really. I mean, God bless him, but yeah, nah.
Yeah, can't do it. All right. Yeah. Let's go straight to that's no holds bar for the week. Let's go to our.
I got one thing. A couple things I want to talk about. Just as, like two more things.
Okay.
One, God, Impact Wrestling.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Yeah, they just won't die.
It won't die. Impact Wrestling may be potentially finding a new network, AXS TV.
It's a good look.
It's a good look. It's a great look. It's much better than the hunting channel that they're currently on. I don't even remember the name of that network because I don't have it. I just don't. It's just
they're on Pursuit.
Oh yeah, Pursuit. Well, I don't have AXS either, but that's one thing or another. But it's good for them considering everything that they've kind of gone through and everything that they've kind of, all the troubles they've experienced with this network. And this might be like their 5th, 6th network at this point, all the way from initially they were on Fox Sports, then they was on TSN, then they were on Pop TV, and then, Pursuit. They're just going all and up and down those like 100 parts of your TV that you don't really check.
Well, here's my thing. And when I found out this news, I was just like, I was like, I wouldn't be surprised if Impact outlasted AEW. Like I'm more in belief that AEW will die before Impact. And people were upset, and I was just like, show me the resiliency.
Right.
If AEW can move from TNT to Spike to fucking TLC to Discovery Channel, like show me that. Like, don't get mad until they can do that. Like I think that Impact's a fighter. They're like they've been in a coma for years. Yeah. And they're still fucking fighting. And you know what? People still keep signing there. So, I mean, they're not going to die as long as the talent still have somewhere to go. I'd still say they're firmly like in the top 3 to 4 wrestling organizations out right now. I mean, they're still around. They're on TV.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're definitely like, by the time October hits, they're going to be a hard number 4. Because just, I don't know. Maybe number 3. I don't know. But yeah. I mean, they're doing the damn thing. They still got one day we got to watch Impact. One day we got to watch an Impact show and then just talk about it. Let's just talk about what we see.
I mean, Slammiversary is this weekend.
Slammiversary. Damn it! I didn't mean this quick. Damn. Like, I was talking about in the future or something. You know what? We'll watch Slammiversary. Let's watch Slammiversary.
I'm down.
Let's talk about it.
I'm down.
Slammiversary. Okay. All right. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. Let's watch Slammiversary. And then we'll talk about it. We'll talk about how we felt about it.
Cool.
Yeah.
You heard it first here, folks. So
you heard it from my mouth, which is
when Sunday rolls around, ask Meelz if he's watching Slammiversary.
Yo, this is on Sunday. I feel like something's happening on Sunday. Okay. All right. We watch it. All right.
So let's get to our hot takes. I have not.
You want to go? All right. Let's do the hot takes first.
Let's get to the hot takes. We can pretty much blow through SmackDown, I think, this week. I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed Raw. But let's get to the hot takes.
So we have a bunch of hot takes that was submitted from random people. Now, what I'll say about this is, in sort of doing this, I said, hey, we initially thought not much would happen this show being both holiday shows. Boy, were we wrong. Mm-hmm. And feel free, WWE, to prove me wrong at any point in time. I said, drop your hottest wrestling take in the response. You can use your name. You can use your Twitter name. You can make up a fake one. And we'll read as many as we can. And I told people, listen, put in a wrestling hot take and maybe even one non-wrestling hot take, and we'll see how we feel about this. But we have here the wrestling hot takes. Let's go through them. We have quite a bit of submissions. I don't know if we'll get through them all, but we'll get through. We'll just breeze through a bunch of them right now. Our first one comes from JD. Don't know who that is. John Duran, Jonathan Dortmund, no idea. He has 3. Wow. Okay. All right. 3 wrestling hot take. Let's talk about it. He's got Roman Reigns is the best member of the Shield. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about that? Hot, spicy, mild?
Okay. Well, let's put this in perspective. Let's unpack this. Okay.
Okay.
So of the 3, I have to say that, and I think you could probably agree with this. I think we've even said it, that all 3 guys in the Shield are better when they're together.
Yes.
I think they're all better. I think Roman Reigns is a once-in-a-lifetime superstar. I think Seth Rollins is great. I think Dean is great on the mic, and I think he has a great character. But I think they become something different when they become cooler when they're all 3 of them are together. Is he the best? I'd say that, honestly, Seth has probably given us better performances in the trio, to be honest.
Who do you feel like is the best overall?
Overall, Roman. Roman. Oh, I think we all agree that Dean is dead last.
No, Dean is last, 100%. Now, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I guess it would be Roman to me. Roman Reigns is the best member of the Shield. I'm not sure how much of a hot take this is.
It's probably very hotly contested. I've seen it before. Okay. A lot of people think that it was like 2013 Dean or some shit. And I'm just saying, nah.
His second one is Cody Rhodes would be a jobber if he had not ridden on the elite coattails. I think that's a fact. I feel like that's a fact.
I think that it's 50% a fact, 50% not. I think he was still garnering a lot of money on his indie dates, but I think that the
elite extended his shelf life on the independents as opposed to thing. It definitely did.
Yeah, of course.
Because I don't know how long he was going to get away with wrestling as Cody and just Cody and doing Cody things. Like, after a while, we would have been like, all right, well, he would have, I guess, dyed his hair blonde and then did some wild shit, right?
He would have been Adam Rose on the Indies.
Yeah, or something along those lines. So,
I agree with that. I agree with that take.
3, looking back, John Cena is indeed the greatest of all time.
Yes.
The greatest of, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's true, but is it a hot take?
I don't even, you know what, in 2016, I think this take had kind of built itself after Cena's last full run in the WWE, where we were officially just saying, like, okay, this guy's the greatest. Like,
Yeah, John Cena. I would say John Cena. I would say John Cena is the greatest of all time.
He's done it for longer. He's made
than anyone.
Yeah, than anyone in his position.
He's one of the most decorated. Has had a lot of fantastic matches.
Dare I say he's made more money, or I don't want to do this without without the numbers in front of me, but dare I say he might have made more money than all those guys.
Maybe, potentially. Let's move on to our next hot take. It comes from X. I'm assuming this is Xavier, who you can listen to on the Looking Glass podcast. I'm assuming this is. If it's not, then Xavier, you just get a cheap plug on the Looking Glass podcast. His hot take: Ronda Rousey, while a very good worker, stagnated the growth of the Raw Women's division for a year.
No, I can't say that.
They went to WrestleMania and main evented WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I don't know if it stagnated it at all.
It strengthened it. I think that, I think in particular, you're talking about performers like Sasha Banks, who did get a match against Ronda Rousey. And it's like when you build a super competitive and a super strong character, they have to be at the top. Like their parity only matters when it does when it doesn't. Right. like with Ronda, parity didn't matter there. Like not everyone had to be beating her every week in order for it to be parity. I think that you still had a lot of people who got the rub from her just for being in the ring with her. Nia Jax, Alexa Bliss, especially. Sasha Banks got a rub from being in there with her, and of course Becky and Charlotte. I think everyone that was next to her at least got a Sports Illustrated interview or like some type of flash or a main event from just being in her orbit. So I can't say that she stagnated anybody.
I think the conversation for women main eventing WrestleMania wouldn't have been so solidified nor undisputable if Ronda Rousey wasn't there. Some workers, yeah. Did everyone become women's champion after she became? No, but that was something that also happened. I mean, it's also happened with Alexa Bliss. Like, you could argue if that was your case, then Alexa Bliss would also have stagnated the division for just how long she was champion through various brands and things like that. But I couldn't say Ronda Rousey is. Definitely a hot take. His non-wrestling hot take, which this confirms to me that Xavier, he says, finally Rich is better than Barter 6. So.
No, it's not. That's not that is not a hot take. No one.
Shout out to Chicago.
Nobody agrees. I'm so tired of you, Chicago motherfuckers. Okay? I'm so tired of y'all.
Our third one comes from Antonio Salgado. He says, "Wrestling hot take: Daniel Bryan is a top 5 wrestler in WWE history."
History, not ever, not right now. History.
WWE history. Period. End of date. All 50-something years.
So think about, and this is going to be real interesting as we come to the start of a new decade. Does The Rock and Stone Cold and Bret Hart, are they still in like people's top 5s right now? So,
all right. So this all depends on what we define as wrestler, right? Is this wrestler like best in-ring performer or best overall wrestler? Because I don't think you can make a case for Daniel Bryan being in the top 5 if it's an overall performer.
Huh?
Overall perform
on the mic?
Mic work and everything? No, I don't think you can make a case. I can find 5 people better than him.
You tripping. You were legitimately tripping. He's one of the best people on the mic in the company. Did you see his run this year?
Yeah, right now. That's what I'm talking about. Did you see his top 5 of all time?
Even when he was a babyface. What are you talking about?
Of all time?
Yes.
Of all the times.
Of all the time. I would put him over Bret. Yeah. He's better than Bret Hart.
I would say, I would agree he was better than Bret Hart. Bret Hart isn't in my top 5. Shout out to Greg, but sorry.
I don't think that he's better than Rock or Austin yet, but I think he's better than like a lot of people that like. I think he's up there with Shawn.
He's up there, but so there's Shawn.
I also think AJ's up there.
Austin. With Shawn. There's Shawn. There's Austin. John Cena.
John Cena's my number one. Like,
yeah, there's a definitely. I mean, Bret was part of an era as well. Like, but then there's also like Macho Man. A lot of people like Daniel Bryan would be fringe top 5. He might be number 6 or 7 to me, but to say that he's top 5, I don't think I could say that like undisputedly.
I can. I'll say it, and I think that he deserves a conversation. I think me and you are gonna have to talk after this episode ends.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm open to things from the fans. Antonio, thank you. This was a hot take. This was a very steamy hot take.
Very steamy. That was sizzling, bro.
Non-wrestling hot take. He says Drake is an top 5 all-time rapper. And apparently he also asked to let me host the call up, fam.
Oh, wow. We do have an update on the call up. We'll be announcing that on Friday. But if you do want to have your own show on the A Show Network, please let us know. I know a lot of people have reached out to me. All I need is just a demo, just like a pilot episode for whatever you want to do. And
we're doing background checks now.
Yeah, and we have to do background checks. So.
Just saying. Another hot take. It comes from @CommanderChrissy. It says Bayley will go down in history as the greatest women's wrestler of all time. Whew. Nah.
Nope.
That is a nah for me. Commander Chrissy, that was a very hot take.
That might have been the hottest take.
Unfortunately, nah. I mean, Bayley's good, but the greatest women's wrestler of all time.
I don't. Who
she's in the same era as Charlotte Flair. By the damn, like she's right there. Like and Sasha Banks also right there.
Who do you think is Bayley is better than?
Bayley's better than Ivory. Bayley's. What are you talking about? Like, if we're doing like a top 20, top. Where would you rank Bayley in like a top something for women of all time? Like, is it top 5, top 10, top 15, top 20?
20. I'm sorry, Chris Novak.
It might be like legitimately might be like top 30 for me. Like, it might be. It might be top. No, it might be top 20. It might be top 20. Might be top 20. Maybe top 25. Yeah. It's Bayley is the best? Nah. People are right there.
Yeah, you can't do that. Right?
Asuka's right there, man. Like, there's a lot of people in her generation giving her a run for her money right here as we're existing right now. Next hot take we got from Ryan. It says the Iconics aren't even remotely entertaining.
Oh,
I'm not a fan of this.
I'm not a fan of that.
I'm not a fan of this. The Iconics send me to Chuckletown every time they're on TV, which is not a lot.
Well, not a lot lately, which is weird.
Because they had that Japan thing where Asuka
didn't even talk about it.
They didn't even show it on the fucking show. Is it happening at Extreme Rules or not?
It's probably a kickoff match, to be honest.
Oh my god! But Iconics are very entertaining. You guys are just wow, Ryan. I can't believe you.
I can't. That's a crazy hot take. But I could. Here's the thing. It's a hot take that I don't agree with, but I could see why he thinks that. Because their type of humor is very much ingrained in them trying to be a meme.
I think Billy Kay is legitimately funny.
No, but I mean, like they know that they're gonna get memed. They know it. Like a lot of comedies like that. Now, hell yeah.
No, I feel like Billy Kay comes from like she's like an old Mad TV cast star. Like that's her type of funny to me. Like she's legitimately she could be in a sketch comedy. I believe so. Like she's funny. Payne Royce is like funny at Jace.
Yeah.
But Billy Kay is funny. Oh my God. Just add them on Instagram. It's a riot.
No, I mean, obviously you follow Peyton Royce on Instagram.
Yes, you gotta follow Billy Kay too. Billy Kay brings the chuckles.
Except when she posts that loser boyfriend she has.
This is true. Very loser. Do better. Number 7. All right, we have the name is Black Air Forces. Okay.
No, we about to get robbed.
Wrestling hot take. Performative wokeness and white guilt are the worst parts of wrestling, aside from smelly fans. The idea that wrestling got woke is dumb, especially when most promotions are owned by billionaires who make way more money than the wrestlers and have ties to questionable people.
Yes.
This is hot. This is hot. All right. I didn't expect us to go there, but
I mean, yes and no. I think that performative wokeness is a problem with wrestling Twitter, which is like it's worse than even hip hop Twitter. I think in a lot of ways, like hip hop Twitter, their wokeness comes from a place of actual wrongdoing because of the racial, the racial implications of a lot of hip hop stuff. And, you know, in terms with women, in terms with homosexuality, stuff like that, like that's a little bit more concrete. With wrestling, it's like, it's all shitty, you know? And as far as I'm talking about like white guilt, like I do think that there's like a huge like contingent of wrestling Twitter who like try and weaponize wokeness to take people out. And again, it's like, keep the same energy. That's why I say keep the same energy. It's like, you know, if you're going to have that energy towards WWE, have it for AEW, have it for New Japan, who doesn't even book women, you know, have it for all these companies that you know, do bad things. And it's just like, they're weaponizing it to create another like stand war. Yeah. And that's the craziest part. Is like, none of these companies are clean at all.
No.
So, I mean, I get it, but I do feel as though like some of the wokeness in wrestling is just a little bit too like, okay, but you could say that about this other guy. Like I got into a big argument with David Bixenspan last week in the DMs where I kind of just went at him, and you know we had a private conversation off Twitter where I was just like, you know, like my issue with you is that like you refuse to point out certain things like if I say Cody didn't see color and I use that as like saying you know the optics of that is so wrong for employing a company that's going to have African American superstars on it and your wife is black, that's a bad thing to say. And he was just, you know, I was just trying to say, like, hey, if I have the energy towards him, it just seems like you come in WWE full speed ahead with shit like that, but you ignore other shit, you know? Right. And it's like, you have to understand, like, that matters to me. You know, this type of shit matters to me. And it matters to me that everyone is not only represented, but everybody is represented as far as criticism goes as well. And I know a lot of people on wrestling Twitter think I'm trying to, like, find a fucking job from WWE, but it's just like, no, like, what's wrong with being a fan?
Yeah.
You know,
and demanding more from the things that you watch,
in all aspects. And you know, what I'm saying? Like I would love for AEW to survive. You know what I don't want to survive? The elitism. Again, no pun intended, from its fans. That's it.
I agree with everything you said. His non-wrestling hot take was the only nice billionaire without blood on her hands is Beyonce. Beyonce isn't a billionaire.
We don't know that.
And she's not a billionaire. That's all I'm saying. It just can't be factually true.
Beehive, his name is Meelz TV on Twitter.
Well, she's not a billionaire. That's what Forbes said.
Okay.
She's not a billionaire.
Okay.
The next one is from John, Wrestling Hot Take. It says, the Young Bucks get a pass for their mediocrity because they're white.
Whoa. I think they get a pass for their mediocrity. Or
oh, you're agreeing with mediocrity.
I agree. I don't think it's the white thing. I think it's that they've galvanized a group of fans that feel as though they haven't been heard. You know, in a lot of ways, just like the Republicans who voted for Trump in 2016.
Oh wow, you're getting your Erica Briss on. All right, I get you.
They reached out to fans that felt unheard. They wanted wrestling like this. They wanted Suck It back. They wanted Too Sweet back. They wanted all that stuff.
Yeah, they're smarky. To me, how can I say this cleanly? Maybe I shouldn't say cleanly. I think they massage the balls of wrestling fans who otherwise don't feel it in any other way from WWE.
Yeah, even though they get it. That's the funny thing about it, is that they get it.
Yeah, they get it, but they don't. His non-wrestling hot take is like, even with these off-season moves, the Lakers will still not win the chip next season. Ouch.
I don't agree with that. But back to the Bucks. One more thing on the Bucks.
Go ahead, knock yourself out.
It's so funny that people think that they're counterculture, but they're CEOs right now, and they're still acting like they're underdogs.
Yeah,
these guys are millionaires. Stop. They're not underdogs anymore. As far as the grassroots thing that they've been building their careers on, they're not counterculture anymore. They're completely within white corporate culture. I just think it's funny.
I think it's funny. Huh? Interesting. Our next, we're going to do a couple more of these. We don't have time for all of them, unfortunately, but I think we can sprinkle them throughout shows in the future if we end early or something along those lines. Our next one is from Bobby. This isn't a hot take, but this is still funny. He says, Cody and Brandy role play as Stephanie and Triple H in the bedroom.
I do too, so...
Oh my god, that is hilarious. I thought that was hilarious.
Thank you for that.
Next one, it's at Run Keldat. Well, another one on the Bucks. The Young Bucks wouldn't be a top 2 team in any of Vince's brands, and they ran from WWE out of fear of being exposed by the Usos.
Jesus Christ.
The vitriol for the Young Bucks.
I like it. I love when
energy.
I love when we get negative like that.
Wouldn't be a top 2 team on any of Vince's brands. Well, once you become on Vince's brands, you become Vince's property. So it's essentially like not his property, but essentially you're subject to however he wants to promote you or anything like that. Like at one point we could argue, you could argue a couple of teams being the best in the world, and it's just like maybe they're just sitting on their couch. Even like, for instance, the Revival. The Revival at one time, arguably one of the best tag teams in the business, but for a long time they sat on their ass and didn't really do anything and really accomplish anything. You couldn't really even say that. Whereas in the independents, you get a lot more creative freedom, and it's that creativity, in my opinion, that allows you to, change your perception in the fans' eyes, and they'll be able to believe, in you for that. I think maybe in NXT, they would be considered one of the top 2 tag teams in the world.
Absolutely. NXT, they'd never lose.
Yeah. On WWE, it'd be a little bit harder to judge. And in terms of they ran from WWE out of fear of being exposed by the Usos, I think the Usos want that match.
Yeah.
More bad than you guys probably think they do. Like, I don't want to give you guys not enough credit. I think they really do want that match. Bucks versus the Usos, I think that's something they genuinely want to happen.
I think it's something they of course they want to happen. I think they intimated like last year or 2 years ago that they wished that they could just get a special show and team up with the WWE to make that happen. But, of course not.
Yeah, New Japan, WWE, what are you, crazy?
Yeah, but I mean... as far as them running out of fear, I don't think that's it. They had a chance to, again, and I just said this, like they had a chance to do it their own way and become executives as they did it.
And they're making way more money than they would ever make signing to WWE. Absolutely. I don't know that they would ever. Actually, yes, more than they would ever make. 100% more than 100% more than they would ever make. Period. In this current era of WWE, his non-wrestling hot take was the Yeezy Boost is the most overrated sneaker of all time. Yes,
they're ugly. Like if you see somebody wearing Yeezys, like you automatically know they're a dickhead. So yeah, I'm so glad I can like say shit like that now. Like I haven't been able to tweet what I wanted to for like the past like half of a year.
Oh, well, welcome. There's another one by Run Kel that I don't. I'll say it really quickly, but I'll say it because you have 2. He says Kenny Omega went to AEW because he knew he couldn't hold a candle to the workers in WWE. Kenny is still a senior hooping with the JV. I don't know if that's completely true. I think he went to AEW for a chance to carve out his own bit of history, and also he gets a stake in the company, which is a lot more than he'd get in WWE.
Yeah, he knew he would have been in an NXT jumpsuit if he went to.
Wow, hilarious!
I think it was Rob that said, "Warm up that NXT jumpsuit."
That is hilarious.
The property of WWE shirt that they wear in those.
Oh my god! Yes, I mean that is very telling, isn't it? And his non-wrestling hot take, he says Dragon Ball Super is better than Dragon Ball Z. I can't agree on that. I can't agree.
Why not?
Dragon Ball Super is better than Dragon Ball Z. I love Super, but Z has a lot of great shit. So good shit. Let's see. This is the last one that we'll do. We'll get to some couple other ones in the future. Actually, we'll end it depending on how this is. This one's from Donnie Luch.
My mans, what's
shout
up?
Out to him. Yeah, man, killing it. If I pronounce your last name wrong, I'm sorry. He said Velveteen Dream will be the black version of what The Miz has become. Charismatic, great on the mic, good worker, and he can hold any title and make it marketable. Whew. I don't know.
I think he'll be better than The Miz.
I think
we'd hope that he would be better than The Miz.
I think his main roster future is possibly one of the most
hotly contested.
Because he could either be extremely promising or incredibly depressing. He's very good. However, when you have to go into the WWE system, you're not as allowed to be. I mean, not that you're not as allowed to be as good as you are in NXT, but the opportunity to be as good isn't the same. You don't have the creative liberty or freedom that you might have on NXT in certain different ways.
Mm-hmm.
to me, that's the scariest part, is whether he will actually live up to what he did in NXT, or we will just hold his NXT run in infamy and complain. As soon as we get to WWE, we're complaining about how he wasn't used right and everything like that. That's what I'm more so worried about. But I'm very worried about Velveteen Dream. And not that he can't do it, but I'm just worried about how things go on with him, because it's a very interesting character that needs opponents, and not that he needs opponents to thrive, because he's great all on his own, but he's not one of those. You're not getting the best of him sitting backstage or running after R-Truth for the 24/7 title.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we're going to get him doing that. I think
hope not.
I think that I really do think that is something that Triple H will probably fight for. And I think he's going to fight for Velveteen in probably Undisputed Era more than he probably fought for Sasha, Bailey, Asuka. Well, I think Alistair and Ricochet, they're doing fine. I think he's going to fight for them like way more than he fought for anyone else. I think that is of all, because he's a homegrown talent. He's not from the Indies. You know, he's someone that came up in their system. So, you know, that is a talent that has to be cultivated and treated with care. And I think that what they've been doing lately with his character is that they've been kind of, you notice how like fantastical he was, and now he's back to being like grounded a little bit, and then they'll go back to fantastical. I think they've been trying out what it would look like on the main roster, and that's what they need to do. Like a lot of these NXT guys, they don't translate on the main roster because their characters are only for a small, 1,000 person, arena.
Right.
Or not arena, but bingo hall or whatever. Like that's what they're for. And it's like they got to start building these guys out a lot stronger.
Do you want to run through these quickly, or do you want to save some for another time?
How many we got left?
We got about 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 left.
Do one and we'll go into the shows.
All right, then I'll do one that's it's a notable submission. Comes from Stat Guy Greg.
Oh, Stat Greg was popping.
He says, wrestling hot take: by refusing to apply valid criticisms consistently across the board, fans are coddling AEW and will be 85% of the reason why they don't exist by 2024.
Yes. Yeah. I think that they have rose-colored glasses on instead of thinking in reality. And I think that will hurt the product. I think that when you have guys like the Bucks and Kenny who will invariably slow down as far as in-ring output goes, and they have to build new stars, you'll start to realize that there are very few new stars out there because they have a lot of them are staying on the indies, or a lot of them are on WWE. And that when it comes time to it, I mean, Meelz, look at their roster now.
Right.
Like they're building a bunch of white guys and Brandon.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're 100% right. And his non-wrestling hot take: it doesn't matter if Trump is impeached or not, because we already have to spend the next 30 years cleaning up the messes he made.
Yeah, but with Trump, like I feel like a lot of the shit he's done has damaged the American culture.
Yeah, and I think that's why we're going to spend the next 30 years cleaning up the mess.
Like a lot of the policy shit he hasn't even been able to clear. Like a lot of the shit he's done, like the next president could come in and click the orange switch back on to a lot of the shit. Like they'll just click the orange switch on everything he's done, because all he did was like, he's a kid who just came in and just started flipping switches, and all someone has to do is just fix the switches. I think as far as like what people think of us, oh man, that's going to take a very, he's right. It's going to take a very long time for us to get over that.
Right. Here's what I'll do. What we're going to do is we're going to put this link in the description of the episode. And for all the submissions that we haven't done, we will get to them. I think we can get to a couple over the next couple weeks. We can just like fit them in. We get them in where we fit them in. We'll get them over the next couple weeks. And if you want to continue to add some, we can make this, just a quick segment, a recurring thing, and we'll pick some of the best ones and we'll talk about it. But I'm going to definitely put this link in the description of the episode, and, just keep submitting. We're going to get to all of these. Trust me. We're going to get to all of them. As hot takey as they are, we didn't get to all of them, but we got to the first couple that were submitted. We'll get to all of them.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys. Let's get to the shows for this week.
All right. Raw. Holy shit.
Woo! a show. That's how I felt like. When the show went off air, I was like, a show.
I watched the full Raw, no skips on Monday. No skips.
Listen.
Even though I should have skipped that Seth Rollins Becky Lynch shit, but I didn't.
Yeah, that was kind of
I wasn't a fan of that, but the show was great, man.
Well, you know what? Then let's start. I mean, I think we should get that Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins things out the way, because I don't think we got to talk about it a lot last week about this sort of, mixed tag match that they're promoting for Extreme Rules, and now it would actually be Extreme Rules match. Just the Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch combination. How do you feel about it? How do you feel about how it's going thus far on WWE television? It
was cool till they started doing promos together.
Oh yeah. And so they started like actively like pushing them together, like, hey guys, hey, kiss.
Yeah,
hey.
This week it didn't feel natural this week. I didn't like how she was tickling him. I was like, Seth, what the fuck? Like, I was just like,
I know.
Seth is ticklish.
Yes, man. Of course. He's
Seth
just any red-blooded human being who would also be ticklish in these sort of situations.
He a grown ass man ticklish? Okay.
You can't be ticklish? What? I'm ticklish.
No.
Yeah,
Seth, I was like,
don't tickle me.
I was like, did she just tickle that man?
Yo, she really the man in this situation.
Bro, they're landing on thick with that, designation. But the storyline thread this week I thought was kind of cool with I like Baron Corbin and Lacey here. I think their promos have been really funny.
Their interlude where there's just like, is there sexual tension or not? Like, is there something going on or isn't there?
They was getting spicy though.
My man was sitting back, arm in the chair, chilling. She's out there fixing the makeup. This would be like what? It would be an Offset video.
Bro,
like
he was so disrespectful. He called Becky a fling. I was like, this is getting too spicy for me.
Listen, Big Baron out here, man.
Also had I thought solid Lacey Evans Natalya match within this thread. Better than their last match.
Better than you know what? I agree. It was more competitive than they had any right to be. Natalya got a lot more in, especially considering a lot of these matches are shorter now. With the new rule that's been implemented, a lot of these matches are shorter now. Everything went well. Like in terms of promoting Baron and Lacey's sort of, can they work together? And then you see yes, because Baron Corbin will go through any sort of medium, even if it means tripping up a woman to make sure that they win their match. So I think that was great. And then you just get to see the couple of Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch legitimately be thrown something at them.
Yeah.
And just like, listen, we can overcome anything that's thrown at us. And what was thrown at them was one of the craziest segments I've seen on Raw. And
it was so crazy that it was like,
I liked it, but also it was kind of crazy. Like it was also kind of very like community theater. But I blame mostly Maria for that.
Mike and Maria Kanellis come out. And it just goes off the rails at that point. I don't think anyone expected that. And it was a night of things that we did not expect.
But you know what? I think it's a good use for... I think Maria is a solid talker. Yes. Maria is someone... She's been in the wrestling for like she's been in wrestling for like 15 years now at this point.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. Like she's almost 20 years deep into professional wrestling. Like she's a veteran.
And she knows how this works. And
yeah.
I think on Raw, it was the first time that we had figured out that they called each other bitches, which
and she's like, my bitch, me and my bitch will go against you and yours. And I was like, whoa.
And then you get like a full-on, okay, Paul Heyman wrote this segment where you had Seth Rollins and Becky versus Mike and Maria Kanellis. And then we get, this is the first that we had heard of it before they confirmed it literally today, that Maria Kanellis is pregnant.
She's like, listen, you can't hit me. I'm pregnant. And then I was just like, whoa, we are going here. And I'm thinking like, storyline, whatever. It's like, wow, that's crazy. And then she had the little after promo. It was like, listen, you're not a man. Becky Lynch should, you know, I'm gonna let Becky Lynch and 7-8 me or something like that. I was like, whoa, Becky 2 straps. Whoa.
Whoa. Young mom.
I saw that on Twitter. Shout out to whoever tweeted that. That was it was CJ. That's what it was.
He said, why your girl keep texting me sexually?
And then we find out she's actually fucking pregnant.
All team finesse all stars, Mike and Maria Kanellis.
After the contract is signed for the 5 years, it's like, oops, actually maternity leave. Sorry, my check will still come. My address is still the same. Thank you. It just is.
No bumps for me, please. Thank you.
Yeah, no bumps. And who knows what Mike will be doing from 12 months from now.
Absolutely on 205 Live slumming it, for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, listen, as long as he's got a steady paycheck, he's good, right?
Have fun, pal. But yeah, very, very weird, but also very weird and something we didn't expect to see. The Street Profits were on Raw this week.
All right. Street Profits made it to Monday Night Raw the second time this year. NXT Tag Team Champions have been called up to Raw in the midst of their tag team title reign.
Well, they're not called up. Reportedly, this was just kind of like a compromise between the new Heyman-led Raw and Triple H, where he would have them come up for a segment or a couple segments and then take them right back down because Heyman feels as though there should be younger faces on the show. And I agree. I thought it was a breath of fresh air. We didn't get to see them in action, but I think fans were very interested, and like Dallas seemed to enjoy what they were doing, and I thought that you got a really good idea of what they were all about on Monday.
Shout out to not shout out, but shame on you for the wrestling fan who was just like, Street Profits, I mean Crime Time. And I was like, really? Could you be more racist?
Yeah, because we all look alike, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's like, they have similar gimmicks. And I was like, two are hood niggas and the other two are just like sports jocks. Like, they're not the same. Just because they're charismatic and unapologetically black doesn't mean that they're the same gimmick. Never confuse Crime Time and Street Profits in your life.
Fuck all ever. Yeah. They're a way better team. They're way more current too. I felt as though Crime Time was like black dudes that were like not like into the culture at that point. Mm-hmm. If that makes sense. Like they were like they didn't know what was really going on like BET and MTV and shit like that at the time. They were just going off of like headlines. There was like
I think they just did whatever wrote for them. This was what they were taught what being hood was. They're really dope dudes. And they're actually both from Brooklyn and from the hood. Like they both understand it, but Street Profits are cool. I enjoy their interludes on Monday Night Raw.
You want to go to Shane McMahon and The Undertaker. Undertaker did show up on Raw. I mean, it's funny that The Undertaker's fourth from the top on a Raw breakdown, but he does show up on Raw. Really great pop for him. Huge pop for Undertaker. Again, their match will be, we find out on SmackDown what the stipulation for their match will be as we start to roll out the actual Extreme Rules matches. Yes. I'm guessing we'll get the last few on Monday. But The Undertaker comes out for a promo. Thought it was pretty solid. I thought
it was a great moment, especially considering they didn't promote him. No one knew he was there. It's great because they're in Dallas, Texas. It's kind of where he lives anyway. So I'm sure he just took the plane a couple hours, took the PJ, and just flew over. It was fantastic. I thought it was great. It's great to have Drew just opposite of The Undertaker. I think it does great for his career.
Visually, that's going to look really dope when they look at each other. I think it's going to be cool.
I agree.
Let's just get right down to brass tacks here because I think this was a big storyline. There were two big storyline threads. One between AJ Styles and Ricochet that ran through the whole show. And another between Braun Strowman and Lashley, which ran between both fucking shows this week. But the Falls Count Anywhere with Lashley and Strowman was really fucking dope. I think that was Strowman and Lashley's best match of the year so far.
I missed it.
Oh, it was 5 minutes.
I woke up from a nap right when Raw came and went straight to the bathroom and missed the entire thing. I came back to people who were like, yo, that was crazy. And people getting carted off in weird camera angles. I missed the holy shit moment. I missed everything.
Wow.
Live.
Corey saying, holy shit.
What did he? I mean, that was a line fed to him.
You know what's crazy? They kept the holy shit on the West Coast airing. Because usually when crazy shit happens on Raw or something that wasn't supposed to happen, we don't get it on the West Coast airing.
Here's the thing, though. You can say shit on TV.
I mean, you already could say shit on TV.
Yeah, you could say shit on TV. You can say. I learned through watching the challenge. You can say pussy on TV depending on what variant of pussy you're using. Like, you can't use it to describe a woman's genitalia, but you can definitely call someone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I didn't know that. So I hope to see that. Well, we saw a lot of risque hand gestures and words being said on Raw and SmackDown this week. But the match was really dope. It was very hard hitting. I think that Lashley and Braun, I strangely enough, I think Lashley's his best feud next to Roman, in my opinion. I think he gets a lot out of Lashley, and I think that as down as we've been on Lashley as a character, I think he's really proven and shown his own here as the big monster heel that can stand up to Braun Strowman. What happens is they get up to the main ramp and they destroy the side of the screen on the Monday Night Raw set. Pyro goes off. Everyone's like, holy shit, they still do that? And then it was like a full 20 minutes where they get carted off, stretchered out. Throughout the night, they have updates on it. They show it every single commercial. After every single commercial break, they show what happened. They say that Braun had like a ruptured spleen or a broken.
Some of the missing pelvis. I was like, what the fuck went on there?
Lashley was the only person that was able to get up, and he like left the Twitter video the other night saying,
he
put him
fine. Yeah.
I think that Braun's shoot injured though.
He has to be.
Yeah,
there's no way why they wrote off this feud this quickly.
Yeah, and then he wrote it off in this manner. Like,
don't get me wrong though. Don't get me wrong. You promoting Extreme Rules. Here you fucking go. Yeah.
We're extreme now, motherfuckers.
This is the most extreme thing anyone has seen. So when you look forward to Extreme Rules, you're just like, oh, if they did this, what's gonna happen next? Like anything can happen. Like, this was a fantastic way to promote Extreme Rules and also have these two guys, just these two larger than life, huge guys, and this just like kind of cataclysmic event that kind of happens to them. I'm for it.
And it changed the show drastically throughout the night.
The tone was different completely.
You had people literally walking through the broken set. You had people like the set was not fixed throughout the night, and I thought that was a really cool touch. We got the Viking Raiders on Monday night as well. I thought they really did. I'm glad they gave them an alignment now. They seem to be firmly heel now, which is completely fine, so that there's no confusing it. That's why I would have the Usos beat the Revival and move on to the Viking Raiders later on. But they did go against the New Day with Samoa Joe in their corner as well. You had a rare Kofi Kingston loss on Monday. I don't think anyone's really talking about that much, but Samoa Joe did submit Kofi Kingston on Monday.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was his first loss since before WrestleMania. Since that gauntlet match where Daniel Bryan won, but it's crazy. I mean, it's good. Don't get me wrong, I'm not mad at it. I don't think anyone's particularly mad at it because no one even thought Kofi Kingston would win all these matches thus far anyway. But
I think it leads more credence to what you said last week about not thinking Samoa Joe had a chance. And I think that's the best way to kind of give you the idea that he has a chance here.
Yeah, at least instill that he can actually beat him and that he actually does. And this is his first loss in a while, so it's monumental. And you think, well, maybe he could actually win. Who knows?
We had another 2 out of 3 falls match between the Miz and Elias. I think it's another like low point for me of this night. Babyface Miz without Shane is not working for me.
I mean, I'm not a huge. Of course, I'm a Miz stan. I'm a Miz stan till the end. But babyface Miz is just not Miz at his full power. It just isn't. It's he's good, but he's not the Miz. Like, he's just Mike.
I think that we should really do a running list of the times that the Bray Wyatt buddies come out when people are backstage.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's happened for The Miz more than once.
Yeah, it's definitely happened for The Miz multiple times. And it happened to Apollo Crews.
To Apollo Crews, Carmella and Truth got it. But The Miz has happened like 3 times.
Yeah.
And also notice we've seen no more Firefly Funhouse vignettes for about 3 weeks now.
That is true. So I think it's coming. Extreme Rules. I think we're looking forward towards something.
But
we might not get Miz Shane. We might get Miz Wyatt.
But again, also no Roman on either show this week.
Didn't even notice.
Yeah, no Roman on either show. I think that he may be starting to ramp up promo for Hobbs and Shaw, or maybe give the man a week off. Did you read his diet regimen? Like he's saying that he still takes his pills for his cancer, and he's still suffering from the side effects, and this man is still going on wrestling every night.
I believe it. He's a trooper.
Yeah, so I mean, if he needs a break, give him a fucking break. But one more thing on the Miz thing: why do they keep giving him 2 out of 3 falls matches? Why does it have to be him?
I don't know. You know, I don't know.
It's adding nothing. Like, these matches don't get better.
They won 50. They went 50-50 on 2 out of 3 falls match.
Yeah, like how can you do that? Like, it's stupid.
Both guys are 4 falls apiece, and now we have to have the rubber 2 out of 3 falls match. That's how this.
The 2 out of 3 falls thing, I do not see lasting, and it's like the wild. Even the wild card thing is kind of they don't even speak of it. Like, they don't even say its name anymore. Like, I think we saw a little bit less of its importance this week as well. It's like the New Day, we just kind of accept them being on Raw now. But I think once Heyman and Big Show start to get their hands on the product, I think we also will start seeing less of that as well.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I think they know what to do with their people there. So yeah, before we get off of Raw, how'd you feel about the AJ Styles Ricochet storyline?
I thought it was a great match. I thought it's a great storyline, at least in this one, to make Ricochet look good. And, you know, they gave AJ the fake win, which I thought was a great little pop and great little.
But it was literally just to fulfill the commercial break thing. And it was so obvious.
Yeah, it definitely was. But, you know, they got to come up with creative ways. I don't know if this continues to last, but it is what it is. And then Ricochet pulls out a sneaky win. He doesn't win definitively, but he pulls out a win. And, you know, then it's time.
He does win with a cradle, and then AJ Styles turns heel. I think that we both agree that heel AJ is the most confident, the most best. And I enjoy heel AJ.
I think it should happen for Seth Rollins, who's also on Raw. I mean, we were talking about this when AJ Styles was, drafted Raw, whatever that means now. That he needs to be a heel now. Mm-hmm. Like, he's just gone as far as he can as a face, and. With Seth Rollins on Raw and Roman's on SmackDown. Well, whatever. He's on every show. With the faces that they got on Raw, they need a major heel, and Seth Rollins is that. Yeah,
I think that's, and then again, the club being together again. Why not? Why not go back to the well there? It didn't fail the first time. But again, Raw, really great show. I think the focus on Ricochet as well as like possibly becoming their number 2 face on the show. Very, very, very cool.
Potentially, yeah.
So SmackDown. Didn't enjoy that as much as Raw.
Nah, SmackDown seemed to be the same old regular show.
We did get Aleister Black finally saying he's going to be at Extreme Rules, and we're going to see who challenged him.
Yes,
so that should be cool. I think the biggest threat of the show was Kevin Owens he's a face again, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
It makes sense. It makes sense that Kevin Owens is a face again. I think
no Sammy this week, by the way.
No Sammy at all on either show this week. It makes a lot of sense because, again, I think we all know that the reason he became heel anyway was because Daniel Bryan ended up being hurt, and he ended up being gone for a lot longer than we thought at that point. So him
was it hurt? I think he just got time off, right?
Or hurt or time off, whichever. I think that
there was an end. There's supposed to be an end to means to all of this, and they just flipped him for necessity of like, all right, you're against Kofi.
Yeah, and I think that him and Dolph Ziggler, not my preferred destination. Why not pull out Buddy Murphy for this, or why not do Andrade for this? But again, if we're gonna get babyface Kevin Owens, it's a great person for him to beat is Dolph Ziggler before he moves on, and I could actually see him getting a title run out of this.
So you believe that there's major stock in Kevin Owens as a face?
Yes. Did you see the way the crowd reacted to him going in on Dolph Ziggler?
Well, that's because Dolph Ziggler sucks, but
or him. I mean, but that's why they're positioning him against him, because that's the easy way for him to get baby faces and say, okay, he is a face now.
I think. Kevin Owens is a heel. I mean, I'm ready to see the journey. That's what I'm ready to see. I'm ready for the journey to see Kevin Owens as a face in the company and see where that takes him for a long period of time. And I think he was ready to. He talked about it on Chasing Glory with Lillian Garcia, WWE's new hot.
Their new. Let's see if we can make this a storyline podcast.
Yeah. Their new hotness. And he was like, listen, I really wanted to be a face. You know, he sat down with Lillian. Lillian probably had her hand on his hand. And just like, listen, I believe you can, you know, and you know, but we finally get to see how that is. And I'm not mad at it at all. I'll tell you what else I wasn't mad at. The main event.
Main event was good.
Not mad at the main event, even with heavy machinery.
Machinery in it? Oh, wow. Okay.
Even with heavy machinery in it. I wasn't mad. I was like, you know what? They did the damn thing. Still not a fan, but they did the damn thing.
Again, man, give Tucker some love, bro.
Give Tucker some love. You know what? The other guy, what's his face?
Otis?
No. Oh, Tucker. Oh, we're talking about Tucker. I can't see. Tucker was cool. Tucker was good. Tucker was good.
You got to put some respect on Tucker's name.
Tucker Tucker going to drop like 40 pounds when he gets his single run and really then show up as like Luke Harper.
Yeah. A couple quick hits before we end off on SmackDown. R-Truth did lose, and I meant to mention this on Raw. He did lose the 24/7 title to Drake Maverick, who, I mean, again, compelling storyline. So that's going to continue on. I'm guessing on the weekend. Daniel Bryan versus Big E was also very good.
It was really good. Can't be mad at that.
They have great chemistry. The Bayley Nikki Cross thing is really, really like. I thought it was a really good segment. I thought Nikki Cross could really fucking talk, bro. Yeah,
Nikki Cross she's getting a lot in this. This is the best, you know, this is the best for her in any type of situation. Usually in these type of situations where they'll have like the sidekick overcomes the person who's oppressing them, they never truly overcome the person who's oppressing them like long term, like after it.
Yeah.
And from like every Miz program ever. So that's the only thing I'd be worried about. But Nikki Cross is really, really good. She's done amazing in this role. She's believable. I thought the loss to Bayley was also good. Believe it or not.
I'm not a big fan of Bayley getting her win back a week later, though.
Yeah, I'm a fan of it from a standpoint of like, okay, so you're helping Alexa, but what's in it for you? Like, Alexa's not helping you win this match. Like, Alexa's not helping you with anything. And now you just lost the match and now you got to feel bad. It gives Alexa a little bit more ammo because she's like, I guess I'm going to have to do this myself. But it's like, you know, I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan. I think it works story mode.
Yeah. I mean, again, Nikki's completely been showing off and showing that she can do it, and she's up to the task. So shout out to her for that. Also, we got the Kofi Kingston Samoa Joe face-to-face that I thought was really good as well. I thought Kofi Kingston throwing up the middle finger was very attitudinal.
Yeah, good for him. Good for him. That was cool. Like, even if he did get the loss, he still was cool. And that's what the best part of this Kofi Kingston thing is. He flips Samoa Joe the bird, and people legitimately went up for it.
I fucked with it. I thought that was what you need to give Kofi an edge against Samoa Joe. And I mean, really good stuff on SmackDown, even though I didn't enjoy it as much. Still a solid show. You got Ember Moon looking great against Mandy Rose. I'm guessing that feud's going to continue, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And you had the appearance of Andrade. No Finn Balor, but you got Andrade.
You got Andrade against Apollo Crews, something that they've been promoting for the last couple of weeks. We get it. You know, Andrade wins the match. It looks like they're going now to Monday Night Raw next Monday to challenge the Man and the Champ. Actually, they're both champions. They're challenging Andrade and Zelina are challenging Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins.
No promos before, and also Andrade and Zelina have way better chemistry, so they need to study that.
Yeah, it should be good. You also got that little Ali promo, you know.
The Everest College promo.
Yeah, listen, he's doing big things, baby.
Looks just like you.
Oh my God. But, you know, things are moving forward. Again, next week, Eric Bischoff moves to Connecticut. Not that matters to us, but at least it's the...
We'll see if that matters.
We'll see if he begins to integrate himself in storylines. Like a lot of people have commented on it. One notably Charlotte. Charlotte's like, yes, I'm glad to work with him, but it shouldn't affect my position at all.
Charlotte was like, I'm good. Like,
I'm good. I mean, I'm interested in what he's going to bring along to the table, but like, you know, I'm good nonetheless. Like, I'm Charlotte. Like, when I want the championship, like, is, you know,
ask.
Yeah, I'm just asking, you know. When I'm ready, I'll be back.
It has been weird to not have her on TV for such a long time like this.
I feel like she takes summers off.
Hot girl summer, bro.
Yeah, a little hot girl summer action. SummerSlam is in 5 weeks. She'll be back.
Oh man, it isn't fun. But again, we don't know what that show looks like, but I think that after Extreme Rules, we will know. Speaking of Extreme Rules, next week on the show, we will have our Extreme Rules predictions. So check that out. But for this week, that has been the week in professional wrestling. On the A Show, episode 89. I am Justin. This is Meelz. As always, follow us at RNC Radio Live for all the latest and greatest from our group of people.
Follow the Instagram too.
Please follow our Instagram at RNC Radio Live as well. We're gonna start having more original content on there as well. Also, we have new playlists out this week: the R&B and RNC playlist, as well as the RNC Radio playlist proper. We have so much stuff coming. We have a new episode of the call up with our new host on Friday as well.
Right, and we also had the cable box earlier this week with Pat. You can make sure to check that out. We also had your podcast with Mark.
Yes, Overly Medicated episode 2 was it came out this week, talking about HBO's Euphoria. Me and Mark will be watching the show live on Sunday because he will be in Los Angeles, and we will both be talking about the show immediately after it comes out. So yeah, check that out.
Listen, I've got nothing else. I mean, I think G1 also starts this weekend.
Yes, it does. I will be watching.
Everything. So you can expect a G show in the future.
Yes, you can expect the G show. We're working out how often we're going to post about it. I was thinking maybe end of the week, but we're gonna try and get the best show out to you guys. So definitely pay attention to RNC Radio Live and my account as well as Cyrus's account on when you will be able to hear the G show.
100%. And they also, I mean, if you want to check it out yourself, they also announced the card for the Evolve 10th anniversary show that'll be airing on the WWE Network. Check that out. We'll probably talk about it again next week.
Yeah, a lot of predictions next week. So just be ready.
Yeah.
So for Meelz, I'm Justin. Thank you for listening to the A Show, episode 89. Until next time, see you next week.
My champion is still black, y'all.